Hello, my name is Casper and welcome in the next episode of JavaScript Crash Course 2023. In this episode I will show you the basic arithmetic, algebra in JavaScript, so let's go! Let's start this episode with the simplest algebra operations, and the first one maybe will be adding some variables, and I will start with declaring x, for example, which is equal to 5 plus 1 plus 9. I will console log it, and I have 15, so I've added all the numbers here and displayed in the x, so it's super easy in JavaScript. And what is more, I can add also strings, so I will change x and reassign for example, Casper. I will add space and I will add the full stack dev, and I will console it log. And I have the entire string. What about not adding the space? There is no space between these two elements. So that's how work it with strings. And what can we do if we pass, for example, string here? So I have 5 but string and another variables numbers, and I have displayed in the console the 519 but as a string type of, and it's a string. Maybe I will make a pretty console x. It is a type. It is a type string. Okay. And what if I pass string at the end? There will be 6 and added 9 and also attached a string. So it is basically a string, but it added the first numbers. And what when I will add string in the middle? Also the same, it's changing everything after this string to string, and everything before also overall it's a string, but everything before string is just added and there is an operation. So maybe I will subtract like that, and 5 minus 1 is 4, and the rest is a string, so I can see it as a string. If I delete that, there is a number and everything okay. If I pass there a string, there is a 14, so operation was made. It's a big surprise because it's not treated like a big string. There is a minus operation and it's counted like the number. Before we go to multiplying and dividing, it's worth to mention that strings does not allow to make some subtractions, and it's directly impossible. So this is why it's treated like a number, and I can't, for example, make a declaration of a string like let as is assigned to string Casper, and for example I will console log as minus a and expect that the result will be Casper without a. It will be just not a number. So every time you see this sign in the console or wherever. It's just not a number indicator. So we can go to the multiplying, and I can make, for example, a declaration of an a variable identifier, and it's assigned to 5. Let b, for example, assigned to 2, and let c equal to a multiplied by b, and console log c. A 5 multiplied by b 2 is obviously 10. So multiplying is also working. Of course, I cannot imagine it doing with strings, so multiplying some string by string is also impossible as far as doing it with the division, dividing. So it's reserved for numbers. And we can go quickly through the types of arithmetic operators, and these operators are divided into additions with the plus, subtraction with the minus, multiplying with the star, double star with the exponentiation, so I can make some number to the power. For example, let a is assigned to 5 and console log 5 exponented to 2, and it's 25, so it's like the 5 powered up to 2. Also I have a division, so division is made with slash 5 divided by 2, so on half it's 2.5. I can make a modulus, which is very interesting operator, so it gives the rest from the dividing. So what it means, I've printed the result as 1. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, but it has 2 times 2 integer values inside, so I have 2 times included the number 2 in the 5. So 5 is equal to 2 multiplied by 2, and the rest is 1. So modulus is just returning this rest. For example, 10 modulus 2 is 0, because 10 divided by 2 is 5. It's so 2 times 5, and there is plus 0. There is nothing to show. But for example, 14 modulus 3 is 14 is equal to 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2. So the modulus from this operation is 2. That's how modulus work, and it's pretty used in the cryptography. So if you're interested with the blockchain, asymmetric cryptography, or the securing transfer of data, it's a very powerful operation because you cannot revert it. For example, if I have the result from this operation, I cannot get numbers from which this value was returned. So modulus return 2, and I can have different combinations, which gives this value. Even if I have one part, for example, I know that it's divided by 3, modulus return 2, I cannot strictly define what the first number is, because there are multiple combinations, and if I have a huge numbers, it's even harder. So that's how cryptography is using the modulus. Let's go for another arithmetic operation, which is incrementation, and it's made with two signs. And it's 6. I can make it a few times. And it's 6, 7. The same with the subtraction. And it's reduced. And the quite tricky way of doing that is, for example, variable declaration x and is assigned to 10, and this kind of operation is incrementing x, which is 10 by 5, and it's 15. So this basically means that x is equal to x plus 5, which is 10 plus 5. The same with the subtraction. So I can make like that, and it works the same. I can obviously make it with all of kinds of the operations. For example, divide it, or multiply it, or make a modulo. But I cannot add two signs because this is not a reference. So making 2 times incrementing, it obviously doesn't work. So if I can increment numbers, I can also increment strings. For example, I will type string I am the first and increment it with no, you are not. And it's added to the string. So basically this works, this incrementation works like that also with strings. What is more important, there is another part of algebra, and it's called the JavaScript comparison operators, and I can display some of them. So the equal sign is referring to the assignment operation, but if I make it a double equation, it's the equal to. So I will make something like that, something mysterious. I will clear the console and compare if 1 is equal to 1. It's true. So that's how it works. If I type the 3 equals, it also comparing the type and the value. So there is a tricky part. So string number 1 and number 1 is equal in JavaScript, so it can be received as a nice joke, especially when you programmed in some C++ or a low-level programming language. But in JavaScript it works like that. But if I also type the third equal sign, it's false. So this is referring to the type and the value. This only the value. So this is equal, and we can show also the not equal, and to check if something is not equal, I just type it like that and it's false. But if I type here 2, it's true. if I type the string number 1, it's false. But if I add another equal sign, it will be true, because I will also compare the type. I can make also something like check if some number, some value is greater than the other. So it's false because 1 is lower than 2. But if I type 0.2, it's true. If I, however, change it to lower, it's lower. If I want to make an equation greater or lower, I just add the equal sign. For example, if I type 1, is also lower, 0.1 is false. If I type 1 and greater, it's true. Also, I have something like if statement in ECMAScript, in the newest version of JavaScript, and it can be done with the question mark. So I can make if true and add a question mark. So if true, there will be true. If no, false. So I passed the value boolean true, so it is always true, and if it's true, there will be printed the string true. If not, it false. I can negate that, and it is equal to false, so the second part is executed. So this part is like else in if statement. What it does is practically the same, like if true, return true, else return false. So it's pretty the same, and it has to be included, of course, in the function, but I will return the console. I will maybe pass also a let variable is equal to true, variable return console log. And if I include that in the statement, if the function, it will be correct syntax in the console, but basically it's the introduction to the if statements with this question mark operator is the same. So just see what is the simplest version, so we can compare that with the this. So there is one line, there are lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code. Smart developer also always is looking for the solutions which take less lines of code. The other very significant part of operators is a JavaScript logical operator. So there are mainly 3 operators which you have to know at the fundamental basic level. So I will quickly remove the console, clear the console, and I have one variable true. Let variable 2 is equal also true. I will make variable 3 false. And how it's done, so I will be consoling in the console the output, and basically I have logical AND operator, which is performed with double ampersand, the OR, like that, and I can negate it all, achieving logical NOT with this sign. So let me do it in this way. I will console log, and there will be a statement, so maybe variable 1 and variable 2, or there will be passed string, if not failed. It passed. Why? Because variable 1 or variable 2 is returning the true, because one of them is true. If one of them was false, it also passes because of the arithmetic logical OR operator. However, if it comes to AND, it failed because one of them is false, and in this case both of them has to be true. But if I make XOR by making a negation, it will pass because this made false, but I negated that and it's true, so it returned passed. But if I made inside true, there will be failed. So this is how it performs. It can be pretty useful in the if statements and conditional rendering some components in React, or for example in the backend. And what is more, there is another function for making powering. So let, for example, u is equal to 5, and if I have to achieve the power of 5, I can make math.pow u, and there I can type 2, so 25. If I pass 3, 125, it's the same, like u and double, and it's the same. So what is more suitable, it depends on you. You can use both of them. Thank you so much for watching this part of the tutorial. Hope it was very helpful and will develop your skills to get a first job in the 2023. So in the next episode I will go through if statements, functions, etc. and you will be ready to finish it and make some portfolio and get a job. Thank you so much and see you.